welcome. You are watching the NewsHour Agenda, India's most loved primetime show at 10, week after week. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Is celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi in educational institutions a religious practice, or is it a continuation of an age-old tradition that was started, remember, as a part of India's freedom movement? That is the debate currently raging in Karnataka after State School Education Minister B.C. Nagesh said that schools and colleges will now have the freedom to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi as has been done in the past. The Campus Front of India, an affiliate of the PFI, was the first to question this proposal, asking how is this religious practice being allowed by the same government that objected to hijab in classrooms where there was a dress code. Others saw it as an attempt by the BJP to polarize for the sake of drawing political mileage. Then came a binary from the Karnataka Waqf Board chairman, Shafi Sadi, who, while conceding that it is a good move, went on to demand that if Hindu festivals and their celebrations is allowed in the classroom, permission similarly should also be granted for Muslim festivals like Eid. In the face of criticism, the minister has explained how public celebrations of Ganesh Chaturthi, called the Ganesh Utsav, was started not by a political party but by Bal Gangadhar Tilak as a part of the independence movement.
ಗಣಪತಿ ಉತ್ಸವ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯದ ಹೋರಾಟದ ಅಸ್ತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಈ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರುವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಗಣಪತಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ದೇವರ ಪೂಜೆ ತರ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಗಣಪತಿ ಉತ್ಸವಗಳು ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಾಸ್ಟೆಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಬೀದಿಯ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣಪತಿಯ ಉತ್ಸವ ಪೂಜೆಗಳು ಬಾಲಗಂಗಾಧರ ತಿಲಕರ ಆಗ್ರಹದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ದೇಶದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಊರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಗಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣಪತಿಯ ಉತ್ಸವ ಶುರುವಾಯಿತು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಶುರುವಾದಂತ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತಲೆಮಾರಿಂದ ನಡೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಪದ್ಧತಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ರಿಲಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಭಾರತೀಯನ ಒಟ್ಟುಕಟ್ಟೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಒಂದು ಅಸ್ತ್ರ.
ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣೇಶ ಹಬ್ಬ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಯಾರು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಚಿವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ನಾವು ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೇಳಿಕೆನೇ ಅದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಶಾಲಾ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಿರಲಿ, ಆಯಾಯ ಧರ್ಮದ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಜಾತಿಯ ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅವರ ಧರ್ಮದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅರಿವು ಮೂಡಿಸುವಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಧರ್ಮದ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳಿವೆಯೋ, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಪೂಜೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಶಾಲಾ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿದರೆ ಅವರು ಮೋರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಬೆಳೀತಾರೆ. ಮೋರಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ತುಂಬ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಜಾ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರೌಡಿಸಮ್, ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಗಲಾಟೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊನೆಗಾಣಿಸಬೇಕಾದರೆ ಶಾಲಾ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣೇಶೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಗಣೇಶೋತ್ಸವ, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಸ್ಲಾಮಿಕ್ ಇದು ಆಚಾರಗಳಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹಿಜಾಬ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಮುಂದೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದು ಶಿಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ. ಒಂದು ಇಸ್ಲಾಮಿಕ್ ಶರೀಯತ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇರುವಂಥ ಆಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮೋರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವರು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿ, ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಬೆಳೆದರೂ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಭೌತಿಕವಾದಂಥ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಬೆಳೆದರೂ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಗಲಾಟೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the debate, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Uday Mahurkar, author, Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. My first question is to Syed Aslam Pasha, spokesperson of the JDS. What is the problem? Ganesh Utsav was and will always be a community celebration, Syed Aslam Pasha, and not a communal celebration.
Padma, you are absolutely right in saying that Ganesh Utsav or the Sarvajanik Ganesh Utsav has been celebrated from centuries now. But having said that, we all need to know that India is a beautiful nation with multiple religions, caste, creed. We believe in unity and diversity. And having said that, if somebody is talking about Ganesh Utsav, it's definitely it's the right celebration. In India, there are festivals celebrated with relevance and reverence, with love and passion. And as we said, we believe in unity in diversity. All the festivals have to be celebrated. But there is a precedence to this. Now, when the hijab was banned in Karnataka, right, the government said that any form of religious practice or any expression of religion would not be allowed inside the schools and colleges. And the High Court of Karnataka also upheld that. But having said that, now BC Nagesh, who's the school education minister and the literacy minister, he needs to be ethical. At least being the school education minister, he has to be ethical in his policies. When he says that no religious practice or any form of religious expression should not be allowed inside the school, no one should wear their religion on their sleeve, it has to be upheld by the government. He cannot be biased. Since he is
so, Mr. Pasha, you have said, having said that 5 times, but I still can't understand what are you saying.
Polarize.
Are you accepting that Ganesh Utsav is not communal, it is community celebration? Are you agreeing with that essential premise to begin with?
No. Let me put it the right way. Padmaja. No festival, no religion, no caste, no creed will be communal. It is the situation and the political developments which make them communal, right? When it is about when the girls are wearing hijab, the government banned it, calling it as a religious practice. It is not
banned.
It is not.
Again, we keep going back to that same falsehood, sir. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of colleges in Karnataka and the rest of the country where hijab is allowed. There is no hijab ban. Repeat after me. There is no hijab ban in India. There is no hijab ban in Karnataka. It is about a uniform. And the Karnataka High Court upheld that where there is a uniform, you can't wear a hijab. But can you deny, Sanju Verma, at the end of the day, that Ganpati Utsav is about Lord Ganesha? Lord Ganesha is a Hindu god. Can you deny that? It will always be linked to Hindus and Hinduism. Why are you bringing Hinduism into the classroom?
Okay, Padmaja, thank you. Just a quick clarification, though I think you've given that. I will just say that, the Karnataka hijab ban judgment, which came out in March 2022, categorically said, like Padmaja said, there is no blanket ban on hijab. But if schools and colleges have a prescribed uniform in place with respect to Karnataka State Education Act of 1983-84, then students need to adhere to the uniform and the dress code. So please don't mislead the Times Now viewers, by saying that there's a hijab ban. Now coming to Ganesh Chaturthi, and by the way, the Karnataka hijab judgment spoke about a dress code in schools and colleges. It did not talk about religious festivals. So please differentiate between celebration of religious festivals and a dress code in classrooms. Don't conflate the two issues. Now I will come to the Ganesh Chaturthi angle, which has sparked up a controversy. Please, I did not interrupt you. Let me have my say. Padmaja, I agree with you. Is Ganesh Chaturthi associated with Hindus and Hinduism? Of course, yes. I mean, anybody with an iota of common sense knows that is what Ganesh Chaturthi is all about. Me being a proud Hindu, I will say yes. As a Hindu, I would love to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi more so in a place like Mumbai, which celebrates it with a lot of pomp and gaiety. But don't forget that in 1890 to 1893, it was for the first time that Bal Gangadhar or Lokmanya Tilak actually made Ganesh Chaturthi celebration as a manifestation and instrument of India's larger freedom movement. Okay. And that is something which is documented in history books. And I also want to say, now I'll give you an argument which some of the Muslim panelists may not like. Ganesh, they say, is a god for everyone. Ganesh is the god of wisdom. So Ganesh ko aap Hindu, Muslim, Isai ke angle se don't try and restrict Lord Ganesha from the prism of just being applicable to a god who Hindus revere or Hindus serve or Hindus celebrate or Hindus worship too.
But let me ask you this: if you are a Muslim student, Sanju Verma, would you like it if there was an idol of Lord Ganesha installed in the classroom, Uday Mahurkar? Is that not non-secular? After all, it is an idol. It will be idol worship, and it is antithetical to my religion. That is what a Muslim student would feel. It ultimately is about one religion, Uday Mahurkar, isn't it?
No, let us look at the celebrations of Lord Ganesha in Mumbai. There are hundreds of instances where Muslims take part. So as you rightly said, it's a community celebration, it's not a communal celebration. We have to look at it from that point of view. But I want to go deeper. You see, yesterday there was a controversy about Tipu Sultan. A set of Muslims was insisting on the photo of Tipu Sultan. Now, my question to these people is that why they want to install the pictures of patriotic Muslims like Mahavir Chakra Brigadier Usman, Paramvir Chakra Havaldar Hamid, or Ibrahim Khan Gardi, the artillery chief of Marathas who remained loyal to them in the Battle of Panipat. Why they want to look at divisive figures? So this Ganesh thing also is part of that. So Ganesh celebration is basically, and there is a larger thing involved in it. I spoke about it in the morning on your channel only, you know. You see, you have to understand one thing, that India was divided on the basis of religion on the demand of a section of Muslims. And that section was very large. The 1945-46 Central Assembly and Provincial Assembly election, out of 20% votes, 87% votes went to Muslim League. Now, I don't want to say that I will apply 87% pro rata to 100%. But then it was very clear, majority of the Muslims of this country wanted Pakistan. But then India became a secular country, Muslims stayed back, there was some retaliation, our leaders were very mature, they stopped them. Whereas in Pakistan, as compared to the number of Hindus and Sikhs who were there in 1947, today only 10% are left. In East Bengal or today's Bangladesh, the population of Hindus and Buddhists has come down to 28% in the last 75 years. So how justified is how small it might be, a section of Muslims in seeking such demands, making such demands?
No, but now that we are a secular country, irrespective of what Pakistan and Bangladesh is doing,
India has been a largely tolerant country.
Sure, but
even bodies like Vishwa Hindu Parishad, they have never demanded a ban on Muharram celebration or any Muslim celebration. So this demand is totally horrendous and should be condemned. And one more thing, you see, you have to understand one thing.
No, but let me ask you this.
In spite of
then automatically Atikur Rahman would say, should we also be allowed to have namaz inside the classroom? If you are allowing for a Ganesh puja inside the classroom, why not namaz?
No. That is a misinterpretation of secular traditions of this country. As I told you earlier, in Bombay, for example, where most of these people live, in Bombay, Ganesh celebration is a community celebration, and there are n number of Muslims who participate in Ganesh celebration. So that is a wrong interpretation of secular traditions of this country. Absolutely wrong.
Atikur Rahman.
See the public holidays. The country has been very fair.
I would never
even
demand.
in public holidays. I mean, there are many Hindu festivals. Which are not part of the holiday list.
Okay, Atikur Rahman.
So there is a sense of balance in everything.
Sense of balance, and equally you can see people like Salman Khan, actors like Shah Rukh Khan, they also celebrate Ganesh Utsav. In Mumbai, it has never been about any one religion. Pandals are made up with as many Hindus, with as many Muslims, or people of maybe other religions as well. Atikur Rahman.
Padmaja, I would have never demanded namaz in the classrooms, and even in the Lulu controversy, you have never called me. I demanded on other channels that they should have not, gone at that particular time and offered namaz over there. Coming to this topic, plainly speaking, I would say that it should not be state sponsored. It should be left to the schools and the colleges, the teachers and the principals, which have been done in Mumbai schools. We have in our craft and drawing lessons, we have celebrated all the occasions, all the festivals. That was to me secularism. But it was never state sponsored.
This is also not state
to
sponsored.
classify these festivals, and I per se would say that my namaz and my religion best is observed within the four walls of my house. Not in a mall, not in a classroom, not in a college, not in a university.
Sanju Verma.
You know, Padmaja, I think with, no offense to none, I think we are deflecting from the topic. You know, the key issue is that, yes, Karnataka's primary education minister, Mr. B.C. Nagesh, says that there is nothing wrong in celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, but he has said not inside the classroom. It could be in the school premises. So let's differentiate between school premises and inside the classroom. And I just want to take off from where Mr. Mahurkar left. He made
Sanju, why state sponsored?
May I please finish, Mr. Rahman, then you can rebut me. Please let me finish. Mr. Mahurkar made a very interesting point about sense of balance. And I always say that let's have a sense of proportion and a sense of balance. Now, just recently, let me tell you, there were schools and colleges in Mumbai which did not declare a holiday on Raksha Bandhan, which is a huge festival for Hindus. But a few days before that, there was a holiday declared by most schools and colleges in Mumbai for Muharram. Did you see any Hindu from any part of Mumbai saying Muharram mein chutti di thi aapne, Raksha Bandhan mein chutti nahi di? I will tell you one more thing. I have so many of my nieces and nephews studying in schools and colleges in Mumbai. They say Ganesh Chaturthi ke liye हमको सिर्फ 3 दिन की छुट्टी मिलेगी इस बार. But for Christmas, हमको 15 दिन की छुट्टी मिलती है. Now should we make that into an issue? So please stop, making a mountain out of a molehill. मैं कल से बोलूं मुझे गणेश चतुर्थी की 20 दिन की छुट्टी चाहिए. मुझे क्रिसमस में 15 दिन की छुट्टी नहीं चाहिए. What will you do?
Syed Aslam Pasha, stop being so touchy about everything. And a very practical example given by Sanju Verma. We don't want to celebrate Christmas. We'd rather have 15 days for Ganesh Chaturthi.
No. So like I said, Padmaja, like I said, everyone has the freedom and the liberty to celebrate their festivals, and even me being a Muslim, when it is Ganesh Utsav, even I am a part of it in multiple pandals. Now, having said that, I just want Sanjuji to revisit history again. In 1892, Bal Lakshman Jawale is the one who started the Sarvajanik Ganesh Utsav. Later on, after 2 years, it was picked up by Lokmanya Tilak, and then it was run as a socio-political movement. This was to invoke patriotism. This was to invoke inclusiveness. But today what the Karnataka government is doing is to invoke polarization. Why are they talking about Ganesh Utsav in silo? Every festival has to be celebrated with love and affection. Every festival has to be celebrated with brotherhood. If you are talking about unbiased approach, it has to be unbiased for all religions, all caste and creed. It cannot be a biased polarization.
But who said it is being celebrated in a silo? There is a chutti for Muharram also. There is chutti for Eid also. There are greetings exchanged on Eid also. Who is celebrating in silos?
Yes. The question is not about chutti. Padmaja, I'm sorry you're getting it wrong again. The question is not about chutti. The question is when the students are not allowed to do what they want to do as their religious practice or their...
Like what? Give a specific example. What religious practice is being denied?
Why are we doing this in the schools and colleges?
Which religious practice is being denied, sir? Can you please be specific?
I am talking about a hijab.
Hijab, nobody is denying you the hijab, sir. You can wear hijab all you want in colleges where it is allowed. Why is it that after 6 months we are back at square one?
hijab की debate नहीं है.
Sir, you wear hijab.
Back at square. It has to be unbiased approach. It has to be unbiased approach for all religions, caste and creed. Why is it that you will celebrate festivals in schools and colleges, and you're not allowed to do a fundamental right for the girl students.
Okay, first of all, very good. Okay, let me bring in Uday Mahurkar. You know, coming to that larger picture, Uday Mahurkar, are we in a situation right now in such an atmosphere where something which otherwise would have been innocuous, even Syed Aslam Pasha is accepting that this was never about one religion, but things are so tense that suddenly you talk about Ganeshji, suddenly you talk about an idol, suddenly you talk about a Hindu god, and people get their backs up. It's just the general atmosphere of distrust.
You see, the gap between the two communities is growing. Not very alarmingly, but yet it is growing. And two factors are responsible. One, the ultra-Wahhabi radical Islamic movements in the country. And two, let me be very honest and blunt, a small section of majority community which out of the provocations of the minority community is targeting the entire community, minority community. That is also not wrong. I always believed that India is a multi-religious country. All religions, all prophets should be respected, and there has to be a space for moderate Muslims. Today, if in Kashmir, one Muslim is dying every 10 days for the nation, I think we have to keep space for them. But on the other hand, there is an attempt by ultra-Wahhabi movements to polarize the situation, to cash in on the, I would say, over-aggressive statements of a section of ultra-nationalists or ultra-Hindus, which is very wrong. They should understand that, as we spoke about the holidays, you know, there was no holiday on Raksha Bandhan, and there was a holiday for Muharram. So we have to understand this in broader context, but the radical Islamic movements which have been strengthened by the Muslim appeasement policies of the Congress over the last 60-70 years, they want to increase the divide between the two communities. And I think the nation has to be very careful on this point.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Always increase the space for moderation and moderates on each side. It will be better for all of us as a country. Thanks very much, all gentlemen. Sanju Verma for joining me.